book in the hands. Books, not guns. Culture, not violence.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. And if you're new here, hi, my name is Mark. Nice to meet you. And in today's video, I'm gonna talk a little bit about the books I read in 2021. And yeah, I hope you enjoy. So the first book I'm gonna show you guys, it's called Quarto de Despejo by Carolina Maria Jesus. And it's a very raw and very emotional book. She wrote it in the 50s and beginning of the 60s. In this book, she talks about her life, her daily struggles as a single mother living in the favelas, back in São Paulo, Brazil. So yeah, you should definitely check it out if you're interested. The English translation is called Child of the Dark, I think. So yeah, it's a very great book. So the second book I'm going to show you guys, it's Michel Foucault's Microphysics of Power, in which he states that power is everywhere, it's disseminated throughout all of our society, and, it plays a role in our relationships, with each other, with our family, at work, at college, everywhere. I read this one to write an essay for a class I had. Yeah, so it's a very great book, Michel Foucault was a French philosopher, for those of you who don't know. And yeah. So the third book I read this year was Confessions of a Mask by the great Yukio Mishima. And, it follows the life of this boy that is discovering his own sexuality, but has to hide it because of society and stigma and all that. And it's partly based on Mishima's own life, There's a lot of conversation going on about his sexuality. No one really knows, but yeah, it's a great book. It was my first introduction to Mishima. I'm reading Forbidden Colors right now, so yeah, let's see how that goes. And the fourth book I read was Dostoevsky's The Dream of a Ridiculous Man, which is not actually a novel but a short story, and it has this very palpable feeling of despair, which reminded me of Osamu Dazai's No Longer Human. It's a great book. It's a very strong book. It has lots of emotions, and it's very gloomy, and I love that kind of stuff. So yeah, it was a great read. So the fifth book I read this year was The Dead by James Joyce, and if I'm being honest, I was bored out of my mind. The characters, they all felt flat to me. The story wasn't engaging at all. So yeah, I don't think I'm gonna read it again anytime soon. Sorry. Okay, so the next book on the list is Carrie by Stephen King. And let me tell you, I love Stephen King, don't get me wrong, but Carrie's not it. Like, it must be one of my least favorite books of him, and definitely one of his worst works. She lacks depth for her. You don't feel any empathy for Carrie. While in the movie you do, like, in some ways you kind of feel sorry for her, and that doesn't happen in the book. Like, she's just this girl, very problematic girl, and yeah, it's basically it. So the next book on the list is also a short story. It's called Schoolgirl by Osamu Dazai, and it talks about the inner and outer life of this young woman, this girl, her relationship with her friends, her family, society, and with herself. So it's a great introduction, to his works. So if you want to start reading his works, you should definitely begin with Schoolgirl, and then you could read No Longer Human, which it's, I think, his best work and the most famous also. So yeah, you should definitely check this one out. Okay, so now the fun begins. From number 8 to number 12, they are all Virginia Woolf, her diaries. I was doing research on her essays and diaries. So yeah, as a result, I came to almost despise her as a person. She was a great writer, a great storyteller, but as a person, she was very self-centered, narcissistic, and racist, which not a lot of people talk about. So, yeah, Virginia Woolf's Diaries, volumes 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So from number 13 to number 20, all the books on the list are Haruki Murakami, which is my favorite writer. So yeah, let's begin with Novelist as a Vocation, which is a compilation of essays in which Murakami talks about, what it means to be a writer for him, what it means to write novels, how he creates his characters, and most of all, what's the role of the reader in this process. So yeah, it's a great book, to kind of see how the mind of a writer works, especially someone you admire. If you love Murakami, you should definitely read this book, to have a more in-depth look in his process. So yeah, check it out. So the next book on the list is Killing Commendator, which, it's a big boy, and it follows the life of this portrait painter after a divorce, and all the weird people he meets along the way, including an idea, which is it's a very fun thing, to read and try to think about. It's a great book. A lot of people, I feel like, didn't get this story. They felt like it was too long. For me personally, it was the right length. So yeah, you should check this one out. It must be my second favorite book of the year. The next book on the list is Kafka on the Shore, which must be my absolute favorite book of the year and one of my favorite Murakami. You can tell just by how much. So I love how Murakami linked these two characters together without actually putting them in the same scenes. Nakata and Kafka, they have very interesting storylines which are connected, but at the same time they don't get to meet each other. So yeah, I love this one, and I think it's a very misunderstood book. It's very influenced by psychoanalysis and philosophy, which for a lot of people might pass unnoticed. So yeah, I think it's a great book, one of his best works for sure. Our next book is Dance Dance Dance, and if you read the Red Trilogy before, this must be your next stop. We get to see the Dolphin Hotel again. It's a great book. It has a very unique rhythm to it. It's very influenced by music, as all Murakami works are. But this one's, it's very interesting. You get to see the Dolphin Hotel from a very new perspective. It has changed a lot, and we get to see some familiar characters from the Red Trilogy. So yeah, you should check this one out. Now we have Sputnik Sweetheart. This is the Portuguese translation, Minha Querida Sputnik, and it reminded me of After Dark. It's very gloomy and very dark, but at the same time it's cheerful and fun in a way. We have love, we have mystery, and we have loneliness, and we have desire, all mixed up and entangled. So it's a very fun read. So now we have two collections of short stories, Man Without Woman and Elephant Vanishes, both in Portuguese translation, Homens Sem Mulheres e O Elefante Desaparece. So my favorite short story from this one, Man Without Woman, is the last one, that gives name to the book, Man Without Woman. And I also love stories where the main character's love interest just disappears, without any apparent reason, without notice. And in this case, he's left in complete doom. He's desperate enough to just give up on life, give up on being. He doesn't kill himself, like he doesn't commit suicide, but he just lost interest in life. That's how much he loved this woman. So it's a great read too. And my favorite short story from Elephant Vanishes must be The Silence. Must be one of my favorite Murakami short stories. And I'm gonna read a little bit to you guys. What would happen if one day, for no reason, no one believes a word you say? It happens, suddenly, one day, out of the blue. I'm always thinking about it. Last time, it was only 6 months, but the next time, no one can say. There's no guarantee. So for our last Murakami book on this list, we have South of the Border, West of the Sun, again in the Portuguese translation. And it's, again, a love story. It's filled with tragedy, loss, anger, deep regrets. And, it's the kind of love that takes away all your heart and your soul and your time, and it's very consuming. But at the same time, you can just, stop thinking about it. You're obsessed. And I would love to see more of Izumi's perspective in this book, because, like Hajime, she's obsessed with someone, but in her case, she's hateful. She has this anger. She's bitter, and I think by choosing not to tell about her life that much, Murakami manages to make her presence even more palpable, more strong. You can feel her sadness and her anger throughout all the story, even though she appears only at the beginning and once at the end of the story. So yeah, it's a great read. And if you can hear this noise, my neighbors just they decided to make me crazy today. Those little fuckers. So last but not least, we have Ideias para Adiar o Fim do Mundo by Ailton Krenak. He's a Brazilian thinker, a philosopher, and an activist. And in this little book, he talks a little bit about the state of the world right now and our lack of responsibility towards it. And the English title would be something like Ideas to Stop the End of the World, which we can't if we don't take responsibility in our own hands. So yeah, this is the last book on this list. I hope you guys have enjoyed, So this was it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. And if you did, please give this video a thumbs up. Leave a comment down below if you read any of the books I mentioned. If you want to recommend me any books, you like, I would love that. And yeah, don't forget to subscribe. Bye.